It's October 26, 2000, and the greatest console of all time was released. I'm sorry Xbox fanboys, but the PS2 is the GOAT. The PS2 was released and the console was a huge success to say the least. Everybody and their mom wanted a PS2 at launch. The video game industry would never be the same, and the PlayStation 2 console will go on to be the best-selling console ever. Anyway, wrestling games on the original PlayStation though were very hit and miss, while the Nintendo 64 was getting classics on top of classics thanks to Aki. PS1 for most of the time was just average. I mean, Warzone was trash, Attitude was okay, and on the WCW side of things, it wasn't pretty. I mean, if you actually bought Mayhem or Nitro, I'm so sorry. Press F to pay respects. Those games weren't the worst things ever. It's not like they were Superman 64 bad, they just couldn't compare to the Aki games that were being released on the 64, such as WCW Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, and of course No Mercy. However, luckily for all PS1 wrestling fans, towards the end of the PS1 lifecycle, they got two games that made up for every single bad wrestling game that came out on the PS1, SmackDown 1 and SmackDown 2. Those two games just amazing. They pushed the boundaries of what a wrestling game on the PS1 could be. They had season modes, great rosters, great features. They were just so above every other wrestling PS1 game that PS1 fans were just happy they finally had good wrestling games to play. So in 2001, when the PS2 was gaining more steam and more people had the console, the hype for the first PS2 wrestling game was just insane. Okay, take a look at it in this way. The PS1 was released in Japan in 1994, right? And the SmackDown games came out in 2000. So since fans saw what THQ and Yuke's, the developers of the games, were able to do with such old technology, just a thought of how epic a game on 1-year-old technology could be had their mouths watering like they were Homer Simpson. It was late 2001 and it was time, and we finally got the first PS2 WWE wrestling game. Fans were just excited. The game finally came out, and ladies and gentlemen, the intro to that game might be the biggest troll in video game history. Holy. The intro made it look like you were about to play some next amazing life-changing game with some insane realistic graphics and some next level motion capture. Instead, we really got SmackDown 2 remastered and updated, to be honest. Okay, I wouldn't go that far. It was good and it was an upgrade for sure, but the people just expected much more. Yeah, we got entrances now, we got better graphics kind of, more match types. It's just that the fans expected so much better. But thankfully, ladies and gentlemen, in October 2002, we got better. SmackDown Shut Your Mouth was released in October of 2002, and just from the commercials, you knew that this game meant business. You knew it was gonna be special. WWE in real life was rebuilding, and thankfully THQ and Yuke's did the same thing with the game, and they made one of the most perfect wrestling games of all time. One of the many things that I love about this game is that it reflects the time period so well. The game is 2002 as it gets, and I love it. And what do I mean by that? Well, first things first, the roster is absolutely stacked. The 2002 roster in the WWE was deep, and everyone is basically here. You want to play with the Hurricane? Do it up. It's just a great roster. You got young blood, you got veterans. It's the 2002 roster. Like I said, it reflects the time period perfectly. Sadly, we are missing John Cena, but it's 2002 Cena, so nobody really cares because 2003 Cena outsold anyway. You got a good roster. What's next? Match types, right? Well, what do you want to play? Because chances are you can play it here. Cage matches, Hell in a Cell matches. Oh wait, a Hell in a Cell? That is actually a Hell in a Cell and not just a cage with a roof? It's the real deal? Wow, what the hell? They finally did it. We have ladder matches, last man standing matches. Bro, shout out to Vince Russo. You could do a lumberjack match if you really wanted to. And if you really wanted to wild out and go crazy, well, do a special referee match with not just one referee, but two referees. And man, I love special guest referee matches in old wrestling games. And of course, we had everyone's favorite TLC matches. My personal favorite match to do was always a ladder match. That was a triple threat tornado tag. Those are some of the funnest matches me and my friends had as kids. Some of you didn't grow up playing triple threat tornado tag ladder matches, and it shows. Now for me, something that I always look for in wrestling games are the arenas that you can play in. So even as a kid, every wrestling game I would buy, I would always look for the arenas. They were just so important to me. It made everything look and feel so much more real, and it just added to the fun. It made it feel authentic, and wrestling in the authentic arena with a proper stage to me was just cool. And in this game, they just went crazy. They legit had every arena you could imagine for a game that came out in 2002. You had all the monthly pay-per-view arenas in the calendar, including 2 Vengeance arenas. They even had the UK pay-per-views, whereas Just Bring It only had Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania, Heat, and a generic ass pay-per-view arena. Shut Your Mouth though, they had it all. So wherever you wanted to wrestle, you could. Wait, did I just say wherever? Like wherever, or just like whichever arena? Nah man, I mean wherever. This game gave you so much freedom that some of the places that you could wrestle were actually insane. You want to fight at a subway station? Fuck it up. Want to actually take the subway too? Why not? Want to leave the subway station and fight in front of the arena? You do you, honey boo boo. Want to fight at WWE New York? Yes, let's go. Parking lot, backstage, you name it, you can do it. You could legit go to Times Square and throw snowballs at wrestlers and use shopping carts to attack them. The possibilities were just endless. But that's all fine and dandy, right? But how's the wrestling? Because at the end of the day, it is a wrestling game. Well, first of all, the game looks amazing. Look at the difference between Just Bring It and Shut Your Mouth. It's insane. They finally took advantage of the PS2's power. All glorious 32 megabytes of RAM. Graphics are amazing, the entrance is improved by a mile, the lighting is great, the game looks like the WWE did in 2002, and man, the gameplay is just fun. I don't know how else to describe it. Is it the most realistic game ever? Hell no, but it sure is one of the funnest. The moves look fantastic, the moves look devastating, the variety of moves are great, everyone has a unique moveset and everyone feels different. And I love how the ring shakes when you do such a powerful move. The camera cuts are so nice, the presentation itself is just great. Do you remember how back in the early to mid 2000s, every time a big move was done, flash bulbs would go off and it made everything look so epic? Well, they have that in here and it looks better than ever. The gameplay is smooth, it's refined, it's fun to play, it's not hard to pick up, but it's hard to master. It just took everything from the first 3 SmackDowns and improved it by so much. It was actually fun wrestling in the wrestling game. I also love how awesome it feels to hit a finisher. You finally press L1 and the SmackDown logo flashes and it feels like such a big deal. I know it was in the previous games as well, but I just love how it looks in this game with the new SmackDown logo. Hitting a finisher feels like an accomplishment. It feels epic, like you're having a classic match with your buddy. You have no idea who's gonna win. You're The Rock and you press L1 and you grab onto his shoulders and the SmackDown logo appears and it's like, oh shit, it's time for the rock bottom. It just felt like a big deal. The gameplay is amazing, it's definitely an improvement, but at the end of the day, this game is just fun because you just have so much freedom. And like I said, you can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can jump off the fist in the SmackDown arena. And one of my favorite things to do as a kid was to verse the Undertaker and just drive his motorcycle around the ring. Like, how cool is that? This is what wrestling games should be, all about fun. You got wrestlers you want to play with and arenas you want to play in with gameplay that is fun, which allows you to do crazy shit because at the end of the day, it's a game. You got the freedom to go wherever and do whatever. You just never ran out of stuff to do. Everything felt different. Every match, every encounter felt different. Now, does that just not sound like fun? This was when wrestling games wanted to be Need for Speed and not Gran Turismo. I love it, and I still have fun playing 2K19 by the way. It's definitely a good game, but man, this type of gameplay from Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain will always have my heart, and it just holds up so well to this day. So you take the graphics, the gameplay, the freedom, and then you add in the best and most in-depth season mode seen in a wrestling game up until this point, and this is just how I look right now just talking about this stuff. The season mode was so good, so much depth and so many options, and there was so much going on. It was amazing. It also had 2 full years to play instead of 1, just giving you more stuff to do. 2 full years of being in the WWE lifestyle. They included real life stories in there as well, such as the NWO invasion. The season actually starts with the draft, and in this season you actually had to make decisions that mattered. You could free roam and go to any of the places that I mentioned before, and those places actually had stuff to do, and it was always different. Fuck around and you might find the Undertaker backstage and just start fighting with him, or you might find Deborah and talk to her about her cookies, which might not end too well though. The story mode was deep, it was fun, it was different, and it was just so much better than Just Bring It. You had unlockables, you had rankings, you could choose what title to go after. The storylines are just so good. It's crazy how I can go back almost 20 years later, wait, that's crazy, it's almost been 20 years since this game came out, what the fuck, and have more fun playing these storylines than the ones in WWE 2K19. Back then, season mode actually mattered. It was a priority for us and for the developers. Create a Wrestler is obviously great, and it just gets better every year, and this was one of the years where it really took a step forward from Just Bring It. So if the wrestler you wanted to play with wasn't in the game, well, just make him or her buddy. Rey Mysterio wasn't even in the game, but eventually after you unlock a lot of stuff, you had everything you needed to make him look authentic in the game, and you can make him look so good that he looks like an original character. So listen, please go out of your way and play this game. Replay it if you played it back in the day like me, or if you're a young blood who wasn't around during this time, well, just put down Fortnite for a bit, beg your mom for a PS2, or just emulate this shit on your PC. I believe in you, you'll have fun. I love this game. It's perfect. It's legit perfect. There's nothing negative I can say about this game. I played this game for countless hours as a kid, and does nostalgia make me like this game more than I should in 2019? Hell no, because this game is legit. So the question was, what made this game so good? Well, they took their time with it. They were able to perfectly reflect the real product that was airing at the time. They were able to actually improve the game. They took advantage of the PS2's power, and most importantly, they remembered that at the end of the day, it's a video game and it was supposed to be fun. And ladies and gentlemen, it was fun. The craziest part is though, that somehow, someway, those crazy bastards at Ukes and THQ the year after made a game even better than this. SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. But we'll save that for another video. Until then, subscribe, like, comment, dislike, do whatever you want, but stay tuned for more fire content coming soon.